PRT
and Jeremy Show! On this episode,
today we're going to talk to Brad Clark. He's a really awesome guy. And we're going to talk to him about his work.
yes,
So you want to start, babe?
sure. What is BC Adaptive?
So, thanks for having me, first of all. BC Adaptive Fitness is a fitness company where we serve everybody. So, whether you have a disability or not, we're going to make sure you get the best workout you can. We have group class locations where we do low intensity interval training throughout Northern Orange County. We have 5 locations. So we go and we meet up with people, and so the reason why this is important is because people with disabilities, they don't necessarily have the best way to get around. So a lot of people with disabilities can't drive. So we reduce the barrier of access by going out into the community. So we have locations in Brea, Fullerton, Orange, Irvine, and Huntington Beach. And then we also have a personal training facility in Anaheim where we do one-on-one sessions where you guys go, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys kill it. And then we also do some online classes with the Prader-Willi California Foundation and the Down Syndrome Association of Orange County. And we're also currently working with the Placentia-Yorba Linda Unified School District Adult Transition Program, which is super awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite thing about owning BC Adaptive?
I would have to say my favorite thing is being able to work with so many amazing people and then seeing them transition into the best versions of themselves. We have so many people that come in with maybe what we call muscle imbalances. So sometimes that can look like maybe not walking correctly or not having proper posture. And then there's also the people that just need to learn how to exercise correctly. And so it's been really cool to be able to help those individuals improve their quality of life through exercise and being a part of their fitness journey.
That's great.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Your sister April, how she got into BC Adaptive?
So it's a great question. So my sister April has Down syndrome. She's a little bit younger than me. And growing up with a sister with Down syndrome, a lot of times people will be like, oh, that's so tough. But it's really no, it's kind of like the best thing ever, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful for that because it brought me and my other sister into a world that we never would have found without April. So April is kind of the catalyst of what started BC Adaptive Fitness. I think you guys know Katie and Meg, right? You remember them?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. We did.
so-
Get them here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Rad Camp is kind of also what helped create BC Adaptive Fitness from my perspective. So April, when she was younger, she was sent to Rad Camp, and my mom was like, hey, Brad, can you go with her? Can you go do the camp just so that you can be a big brother there? And I was like, yeah, sure. At the time, I was some angry kid in wrestling, and I didn't really care about anything else except for myself, and just kind of really all I cared about was working out and wrestling. And then when I got to Rad Camp, it just really opened my eyes to see that there's so much more in the world, and there's so much more that I can do. And then after being there for a few years, I was out in the field, and I saw about 130 individuals with disabilities, and I saw that some of them were going into obesity, already obese or overweight, and it was about 2 out of 3 people at camp, and that's also consistent with people with disabilities because people with disabilities are typically more overweight or they have more health issues. And so something that I thought to myself was these people, they need help moving, right? They need some more specific exercise that's meant for them and tailored to them. But I didn't necessarily know where to start, so I just ended up just looking up on the internet. I just started Googling places to work out for people with disabilities, and I couldn't find anything. So I actually decided to go back to school. At this point, I already dropped out, so I went back to school and I got my bachelor's and my master's in kinesiology, and ended up doing some research, and then specifically on clinical studies for progressive resistance training programs for individuals with Down syndrome, which Jeremy was also a part of. Remember that, Jer?
Yes.
Yeah. So, do you remember what you did in the videos?
I think I did push-ups.
Yeah. So, okay, we did push-ups. You did a few exercises, correct?
Yeah.
So, you were a demonstrator for our online workout program, right?
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna ask, how did it feel for you to be part of BC Adaptive?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I actually love BC Adaptive. Is we're just like what Matt said about his sister April. And I went to his school and we did a speak together in Fullerton.
Yeah.
I remember this. We were talking about BC Adaptive together, and I said maybe one of these days I could be part of their staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went and spoke at Cal State Fullerton. Remember
Yeah,
that?
I remember that.
We talked about how disability has affected our lives,
Yeah.
and from different point of views, right?
Yeah.
Someone that has Down syndrome and someone that had Down syndrome in their life. So that was pretty cool. That was a really unique experience to give those listeners in that audience, like a really cool, just something that they wouldn't hear every day, right?
Yeah.
Is it nice to have a speech with somebody who has a disability?
Have a what? Excuse me.
Has like a disability, like what Jimmy has?
I think it's great to work with someone that has a disability because, one, you get to bring someone in that maybe wouldn't have the same opportunities as someone else, and we get to show him what it's like to have a job where we are in control of certain things and we have to have responsibilities, and we're also helping other people. And someone like Jeremy, who did intern with us for a little bit, but he got so dang busy and he had to stop, and you're welcome back anytime, buddy. It's really cool to see someone like Jeremy and anyone with a disability come in, and we have another individual, Sarah, right? Sarah Sarah comes in, and she's an intern with us. And what's also a really good way to approach this is that understanding that when someone with a Remington, what are you doing, bro? Someone with a disability is doing the exercises. So, like, remember how when you were doing your internship, you would demonstrate the exercises before the class. Remember that?
Yes.
So it's really important for our people that are new to our class to see someone similar to them and say, oh, that person's doing it just like me. That means that allows them to think that they can do it too.
Yeah.
We got Remington saying hi to you.
Oh, hey, Remy.
What you did before you did the gym?
So before I had the gym, okay, so I first started my company about a little over 5 years ago. And fun fact, I actually had 4 business models that failed.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Which one?
So
It's not do that.
it's okay. No, I don't mind at all.
I don't
No,
want to.
it's okay. No, it's cool. It's cool. It's all part of it, and it's a learning lesson. Remember how we had our learning lesson together with this?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
you just have to try things, and I think that's what's so cool about what you guys are doing. And even though we did try recording, and then we're like, hey, let's do it again. There's nothing wrong with that. The most important thing is that you guys started, because so many people will just say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but they never start. Failing is the best thing you can do when you're trying to do your own thing, especially as a business owner or future entrepreneurs like you guys,
Yeah.
because failing puts you in a position to either lose or learn. And you guys decided not to lose, and you guys decided to learn, and look where you guys are at now. You guys are doing it. You guys are doing it on a better level. You guys are doing awesome. And that's what I did too.
Yeah.
So when I had my business models fail, so I tried different online programmings and stuff like that, because I also started my company 1 month before COVID, which I would not recommend. But so after we finally got something working, what we did is we would meet people in parks. We would do group classes in parks, and we would do personal training sessions at parks, or I would meet people at their homes. And then after maybe like 3 years, we started getting more clients, and then the group classes were becoming very, very populated, where they were going really well. And I was like, I want to start focusing on personal training a little bit more. So I decided to convert the garage at my house into a gym. Right? You guys both worked out there, right? You guys have been with me for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We have.
I used to pick Jeremy up at his house, and we go work
I
out at the gym.
remember
Or work out
that.
at the park. Yeah.
I remembered that, and I also remembered you took me to the DSAOC and will help them with the homeschool workouts.
Yeah, that's the internship we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so we would do the personal training at parks, right? And
Yeah.
then I decided I wanted to kind of elevate my quality of service by getting more equipment and having it in my garage, okay? Because I felt like I can only do so much with the equipment I could carry in my car. So I decided to get some more machinery and gym equipment and then put it in my garage. Is Remington going crazy over there?
Oh yeah, he is loving the studio right now.
Yeah, he's
So cute.
Yeah. So, okay, bud, hold on. Let me get Remington. Remington, come here, buddy. Come here, bud. Come here, bud. Come here. Join
Join
the
the
conversation. Hop in.
Yeah, be part of it,
There we
Remy.
go. You can sit
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Hey.
There you go. Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
buddy. That's enough. I know you love me.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so after I Remington, okay, bro. Okay, I know. You love Jeremy. We know that. So after being in the garage for about 8 months, we just started blowing up. Everyone saw that we were providing a really good service and we were doing something that not a lot of people were doing it, and we were doing it at a really high level of quality. So we started just getting so many people that wanted to work out with us that we had to open up a facility, which is a good problem, right?
Yeah.
Remington. I know he's gorgeous, but just...
Okay, I have a question about your dog and you, by the way.
Oh, okay.
How did Remy help the athletes to like gain strength?
So, Remington helps the athletes gain strength by giving them confidence and making them feel comfortable in a setting they might not be used to. So, a lot of the times, there might be someone who is new to exercise and they will be like, oh, I don't really feel comfortable. They might not even say it. They might be someone who's nonverbal. So we'll use Remington as a way to help them get in. Like, I will let them hold Remington's leash. Or I'll just say, hey, if we go in there, we can go hang out with Remington. And that usually helps a lot. Remington, you have something to say? Stop licking. Sit down, bud.
Oh, he is loving this.
I know. Do you guys know how old Remington is?
I'm curious.
I'm curious.
He's 4 years
4.
old.
Oh, so he's like a puppy.
Still a puppy.
Yeah, he's a silly dog.
He's a big dog.
Yeah, he is.
Aw. What kind of workouts do you help with in your facility?
So that's a really good question. So since we deal with so many people on such a wide spectrum that everyone's workout can look different. We deal with some people that have quadriplegic cerebral palsy. And then we deal with people that are very functional and high functioning. And then we sometimes deal with people that, or work with people that don't have any disabilities. So let's start with the first thing I said. So spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy. Do you guys know what that big words are?
Oh, so it's a palsy. I kind of do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have a few friends that have them too.
I was gonna say, you know people that have it, and I know
Yeah.
you guys that know
Yeah.
that. So a lot of the times when we're working with someone that has cerebral palsy, we're dealing with a lot of movement dysfunction, and so we want to make sure that we help them move correctly, and it has to do with how their muscles are working. So we want to usually stretch their muscles out and bring their muscles to a more relaxed state since they're always so tight. So something that we do is we'll stretch, do massage, and then we will even take people and try and progress their movement. For example, we have this one guy, Ben, who when he first came to us, he's in a wheelchair. He's a wheelchair user. And when we first started working with him, he was only able to kind of reach up and grab a set of keys. That was like the most we could get him to do. And then after a few months, we started moving his arms and his legs, and he was responding a lot better, and actually helped him cognitively. So he was able to start using sentences and using more words and putting sentences together, which is really good.
That's
which is
great.
one thing that benefits is a benefit from exercise, is that it actually helps the way you think. Okay. And now that same person, Ben, is getting out of his wheelchair and using a walker. So, and that was his first time using a walker in over 8 years.
Wow.
So that's like a huge win for us and a huge win for Ben, and his family is so happy to see him back in his walker, because before that he was just so sedentary. So he wasn't doing much. He was sitting around a lot and not being active.
Yeah, so he just
Wow.
needed some extra motivation.
Yeah.
I
so-
guess that, in a way, you can help with it.
Yeah, and actually a cool way that we bring Remington into it is we have Ben throw a tennis ball for Remington. And so that actually kind of wakes Ben up and it keeps him alert and allows him to kind of be cognitively engaged before
Yeah.
we start doing a harder exercise.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. Really cool.
that is really cool. What kind of workouts do like Ben or I forgot the other athlete's name, but I have seen him every Thursday when I went.
Is it Jay?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so Jay, his mobility is a little more restricted. So I'll tell you some cool things we do with him.
Okay.
So just like we do with Ben, is we will do stretching and massage. But since Jay is not able to get out of his wheelchair and bear weight himself, we will actually move his legs for him. Okay?
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
that's fine.
The whole running a business thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we will actually move his legs for him, and we'll do anywhere between 40 to 50 repetitions. Okay, so we'll bring his knee to his chest and straighten it out and do that over and over. And so the purpose of that is something in our muscles occurs, and it's called muscle pump. And so when we get muscle pump, it'll actually increase the blood flow through the body. And since Jay isn't able to get out of his chair and move a lot, this actually promotes blood flow to his brain. And so he doesn't necessarily get that opportunity all the time unless he comes in with us. And so we do this cool little experiment sometimes. Is before we do what's called passive range of motion with his legs, we will take his resting heart rate, okay, and then we'll do the passive range of motion and make sure we get that muscle pump. And then after, we'll take his heart rate again, and we usually see it raised between 10 to 15 beats per minute. So we see his heart rate increase, so we actually are increasing blood flow to his brain and the rest of his body that he normally wouldn't get.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah.
That's
I
really
actually
interesting.
never knew that.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that, Brad?
So you asked me about NAF, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So NAF is our nonprofit organization called the National Adaptive Fitness Foundation. And what we try to do with that is we try to make active and healthy lifestyles more accessible for people with disabilities. So a lot of the times, individuals with disabilities might not have appropriate funds to kind of get into our program. And this is a new company that we just started. And so now we're using BC Adaptive Fitness as our pilot company, and we're hoping to expand this to other adaptive fitness companies that are trying to get individuals with disabilities into their gym. And something we're trying to do is we're really trying to bring quality of work to this industry. Because there's sometimes you can see on Instagram that there might be like an adaptive fitness gym where people aren't doing things properly. And the coaches will be like, oh, good job. But in reality, they're actually doing them a disservice. They're not helping them by allowing them to do exercises and movements incorrectly. So you guys know, when you come to my gym and you work out with Coach Anthony or Coach Lauren, if you do something incorrectly, they're going to say, hey, let's take a pause and then let's fix that, right? Every
Yeah.
time, right? Every time.
Every time.
And that's super important. Because what's happening is we're fighting some kind of muscle imbalance. And if we keep continuing working that muscle imbalance is actually going to get stronger, and it's going to make our movement worse. And then it can actually lead to an injury later. So it's very important that we have quality of work and making sure people are doing exercises correctly. And so eventually what I wanted to do with the National Adaptive Fitness Foundation is create a credential program for adaptive fitness coaches and trainers to go ahead and use, so that way they can train individuals at a higher quality of work and making sure that everyone does things safely. How's that sound?
It sounds great.
That sounds awesome.
What if somebody wants to work with you?
If
How
some-
would you train them?
Okay, so if someone wants to work with me, what we'll do is we'll bring them on through an internship program through the Cal State University of Fullerton. And we recently started working with the Grand Canyon University. Yeah. And so what we'll do is we'll take them through an internship and we'll kind of show them what we do. But we also are very receptive as to what the individual themselves wants to do. Like if someone's like, oh, I want to work in a group class setting. I want to learn how to teach group classes and stuff like that. Or work with individuals in group classes and making sure that people are doing exercises correctly in a large amount of people, with a large amount of people, then we can show them that. Right now we have someone that's trying to become a physical therapist at USC, And so what we're doing with that particular individual is we're going to have them do corrective exercises with one person, and it'll be almost like they're going to be working with one individual, and they're going to be taking data on that person, and so making sure that they are going to get a very unique experience. And then that way when they go to physical therapy school, they'll have a kind of a step up above everyone else.
Yeah, that's great.
That is pretty awesome.
How did you start these carnivals for people with disabilities?
So, I love that question because it's such a big part of our company that doesn't really come first to mind when people talk about BC Adaptive Fitness. So we do community events as well. So, like Audrey mentioned, we do carnival. We do dance. We just had our Valentine's Day dance over the weekend. We have a Christmas party. We do all these events outside of working out because I think it's really important that we all get together outside of doing something that's like hard work sometimes, right? It's important for us to have fun. It's important for our staff to have fun with our athletes. And another cool thing is we don't limit it to just people that are working out with us. We call it a community event, right? And so we allow people from outside of our gym to come and have a good time with us. And it seems like every single time we have a community event, it just gets bigger and bigger and more fun.
Is it fun asking for more people to come?
That's the best. I love seeing new faces. Every time I'm like, what's your name? And they just tell me their name, and they just start having the best time of their life. And sometimes they'll have the best meal of their life. I think we had some really good tacos over the weekend. You know what I mean?
Sounds really good.
Something we actually try to do at these events is we try to bring like more of like a healthy food, right? Not like boring food, but like healthy but still fun, right? Because I've noticed something that in this community is whenever people with disabilities get together, the host company or something, they always supply so many desserts. And individuals with disabilities, they have something called a low metabolic rate. Have you guys ever heard that?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you have? Okay, yeah. It's a little sciencey, so don't worry about it. But basically, it's about how your body burns calories. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And so people with disabilities have a lower metabolic rate, and their metabolic rate doesn't get to the same as a typically developing person's until they're in a state of physical activity. Okay. Wow. So it's very important that people with disabilities have a good diet because it's really hard for them to lose weight once they gain weight.
Yeah.
So it's just one angle, but it is important, and we want to kind of.
I had that experience too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, huh?
Yeah. Sometimes
It is for me.
sometimes
It
when
is
I'm
hard.
in the kitchen when I try to eat something for dinner later, I eat popcorn.
I think that's a good snack. That's
Well,
Yeah.
well, it starts with popcorn,
Oh.
and then it goes to like,
Here we go.
yeah,
With the
yeah.
diet.
So it starts with popcorn for me, and then I went to goldfish,
Okay.
and then I would eat like random stuff after, and I'm like,
Jesus.
am I full or am I just bored?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, thinking of the answer. I'm bored out of my mind.
For me, it's mostly like moderation.
Yeah.
It kind of when Brad said that sometimes we kind of cheat sometimes, but like honestly, for me, I'm trying my best to start eating healthier every single day. I've started eating oatmeal, and
Do you like it?
I love it. And I'm trying to put some fruit in it, like bananas
Yeah.
and strawberries. And more importantly, like, you know what? This is what I do. But, like, if you get consistent of it, you'll be feeling much better. And then I started something, I'm lactose intolerant, so that's why I cannot have any desserts.
No. Yeah.
And all of a sudden, when I just want to be healthy. And, yeah, pretty much I just want to...
Have you tried chocolate
like-
covered blueberries?
Kind of like when Brad just said that when people with Down syndrome has overweight.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be that when I was a kid, but now I'm trying to be. Now I'm older, and now I'm trying to be consistent of eating healthy.
Yeah. And I want to point out something both you guys said that's really important. So Audrey mentioned how she was like, am I hungry or am I just bored? And that's very good awareness, self-awareness. She was like, you know what, I am bored. And that's really important because a lot of the times, anybody, disability or not, will just be eating for no reason. And it's like, you already had dinner, there's no reason to be overeating. So that's a really good thing to point out, Audrey. And Jeremy, you said moderation,
Yes.
right? So like, it's not the end of the world to have ice cream, but if you
Yeah.
have ice cream every day, you know, it could be a problem. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I had ice cream last night, feeling a little crazy. So, you know, but it's okay to do it every now and then. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's just you don't want to be eating bad foods. Like, have you guys ever heard of processed foods?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you want to try and avoid those. You want to try and eat real foods, like whole foods. Those are a lot better for our bodies.
Yeah, if you guys, the viewers watching this, who also wants to be on a healthy diet, listen to this podcast, then you might
Yeah.
figure out some tips.
Yeah, I like that.
Where can the audience find you?
So you can always visit our website at bcadaptivefitness.com. The nonprofit's website is nationalaffoundation.org. And then you can follow our Instagrams. For BC Adaptive Fitness, it would be at BC Adaptive. And for the National Adaptive Fitness Foundation, it would be at NAF.org.
Okay, so thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Jeremy,
Yes.
was it you that challenged me to a push-up contest?
Yeah.
Is that still on?
Yeah.
Are we going to do a push-up contest right now?
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay, let's do it. 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's more sweets.
Uh-oh.
Are you done?
We're done.
Are you guys done or do you want more?
I don't know. You done?
No, you're crazy.
How about 3 more perfect ones?
Yeah, let's do that.
Ready? Go.
1,